everyone, welcome to another video. I am recording the last video of the year. I'm not sure in which order I'm gonna be sharing this with you, but as promised, I am here to do some color mixing using deep light watercolors. I have previously shared in a gift idea guide about the primary trio, so now I'm going to do some color mixing to show you an idea of how to use these colors together. And I also selected some other favorites of mine to build limited color palettes of 4 colors each. So we'll see how far I can go. I'm in the midst of packing Christmas gifts and packing my bags to travel. So I'll do my best to get through what I have planned here, and I hope you enjoyed. And as usual, if you've been following me here, thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see more of you here next year. And if you are new here, welcome, and please consider subscribing to the channel. This really helps. And if you like the video, don't forget to give me the thumbs up at the end of the video. Also, if you're not aware, I am an ambassador for Deep Light, which means I can offer you a 15% discount of your purchase by using the code ColoredCarol at checkout. This code doesn't expire, you can use it multiple times. I hope you enjoy this color mixing exercise with this beautiful color. So let's start with the primary trio. I have primary blue, permanent yellow, and rosso magenta. I'm gonna first paint with the colors Amazon here in the middle circle. I will paint them diluted in this inner circle, and I'm gonna do some color experimentation in the outer circle, see how it goes. So let's start. Let's start with the permanent yellow. I have a whole series of videos here with all of the colors from Deep Light Swatch. I have a playlist, which I will leave a card here if you want to check that out, so you can see all of those colors swatched. And yeah, this yellow is beautiful. It's a beautiful primary yellow, very versatile, not too cool, not too warm, perfect for greens or oranges. And I'm gonna do it diluted now. Here we go. Next we have rosso magenta, which is a very vibrant color. Deep Light is not known for having a lot of vibrant colors. Their catalog is inspired by the nature around them there in Latvia. So it has a lot of earth and beautiful muted tones. But this magenta is really vibrant, and I love it. And this will have a lot of range for purples for sure. And I'm curious about the oranges with this magenta as well. I appreciate both the vibrant colors and the muted ones. I think they really shine when used together, so I'm happy to share these with you here. The last one is the primary blue. This is more of a warm blue towards more towards ultramarine, which will produce beautiful purples but muted greens. Now, if you would like to have something more close to cyan, there are other blues in the Deep Light catalog, like deep blue or dragonfly. There isn't a true cyan as such, but you can always experiment, because in the kit that's the blue they propose, I wanted to do this color wheel using this blue to see the mixes. So I will start with the yellow and magenta. I have a little palette over here. One tip is always start with the lightest color and add tiny amounts of the darker color, because otherwise it will be hard to get a balance, because the red dominates the yellow, so it's easier to add more red pigment than to keep adding yellow pigment. I think we have a good balance here now. Maybe a tiny little bit of red. Yeah. You can always dose. If you want a stronger orange, you add more magenta. If you want more of a orange yellow, you add less magenta. Sometimes I do wheels with more divisions so you can get the variations, which is an interesting exercise as well. This is a very beautiful orange. Let's see now the green using this yellow and this blue. I'm curious about the greens with this blue. Same thing here, I start with the yellow and I add little by little the blue pigment. So I can balance better. Let's see. It's actually a quite vibrant green. I was expecting something more muted than that. It's a very beautiful green, kind of a pear green. I'm curious if there will be granulation, because you can see granulation in the blue as it's drying. I'm going to show you a close-up in the end, but I don't see any granulation so far. Maybe I didn't add enough blue to show granulation. And finally, the purple using the magenta and the blue. And I do hope you can see the colors well. It's getting dark earlier and earlier here, and I have the lights on, which I know it's not ideal, but I have very little choice because I have limited time and very limited daylight throughout the day. So I hope it will still be enough for you to see the potential of these colors. Let's add a bit of blue now. Wow, beautiful, beautiful purple. Very vibrant. I thought for being a more warm blue, this would have produced a muted green, but I stand corrected. You can have very vibrant colors with this trio of primaries, and they come in a lovely tiny little metal box, which is very portable. I'm gonna show you again the box. This is the little box it comes in. with the 3 paints. It's a lovely gift for yourself or for someone else that enjoys painting. It can fit any travel kit, very light. And Deep Light now just shared on their Instagram account that they have gift codes available, so you can print and leave them as little nudges in the direction you would like. So I find this is a great idea, and a little kit like this won't cost you too much. It's 3 paints only. Now what I'm going to try and do here in the outer circle, I want to do some mixing using the opposites of the color wheel to see the muted versions of these colors. So I'm gonna start with the magenta here, and I'm gonna add a little bit of green and see how it transforms it. Let's see. It's kind of a muted coral. I'm sure you can experiment with different varieties of green, but just to give you an idea, like I said, of the potential of color mixing with these 3 colors. Now let's try the yellow with the purple. This will give a beautiful ochre. First I'm going to mix a tiny little bit of purple into the yellow. Like I said, it will give me an ochre, so I'm gonna add this here because it has more yellow. Look at this, it looks like a perfect dupe for the green gold color. Which is one of my favorite watercolors. Lovely. Let me take the excess water here. Now let me add a bit more purple. Now we will get a type of brown. Let me try a bit more purple. Yeah, you definitely get brown. Let me see if I add another little bit of purple. Here we go. So now we get a more type of plum color, or similar to Perylene Violet. But as I showed you, you can also get some browns from this mixture. It all depends on the proportions that you use. Let's try now adding a bit of blue to this orange. Have to be careful because it can overwhelm the orange very easily. We get some sort of brown. Maybe I should add a little bit more orange to this mix. So I'm adding the magenta. followed by the yellow. Yeah, now it's a bit more orange, less brown. It's a type of golden ochre color. I think now I got more of a muted blue, almost a gray type of color. But like I said, you can experiment infinitely with that. I could probably add a tiny bit more blue. And it's interesting because I almost can see, or almost no, I can see the magenta coming through, so you get some color separating mixtures as well. These remind me a bit of cedar teal. Last but not least, we have green and red, so I'll probably need to do a bit more green here. I started with the blue, but I should have followed my advice and start with the yellow instead. I got a darker green. Now let's add some red and see what we get. Or magenta rather. We got a sort of brown as well. I think I should add a little bit more green. I added too much red at the same time. So yeah, you get a muted, lovely type of olive green. Very lovely color. So yeah, it's just a sample of what you can get using these 3 primary colors in the kit. You can go further than I did here, and you can, like I said, devise more, so you can have orange leaning more towards yellow, and an orange leaning more towards magenta, and purple more towards blue or more towards magenta. Same thing for the green. And then you can do the experimentation also here, using the complementary colors to see the type of muted tones you can get. This magenta, it's very strong, so it comes through in the mixes. Like here I can see some sort of granulation. I can also see the granulation of the blue here and here, not so much in the green though. And I can see definitely some sort of granulation or texture appearing with the undertones of the magenta. So this magenta is very special. It can get some color separating properties depending on the mixes. This mixes is very lovely as well. Nice, lovely gray. Now I am going to share with you some other limited palettes that I will propose here with my favorite colors from the catalog. I'm a bit short on time today. Maybe I was over ambitious with what I planned, but I'm gonna see how far I can go. So first palette that I propose here has my favorite colors. I tried to make some selections which I thought would work nicely as a cohesive palette. So let's start. The first one is Masha's Green. That is my very, very favorite color from the catalog. Was the first one that caught my eye. It's the one that made me want to try Deep Light to begin with. It's a very, very vibrant green, but if you dilute it, it can go to a very lovely light green that you could probably use as a primary yellow as well. Cool yellow. Then the next one is another favorite, a very lovely vibrant orange called Rose Hip. Look at that. Isn't this gorgeous? And I think these two together look very nice. Next one is a very interesting color, muted, called Bramble. It's more of a purple. You can see some color separation. Oops. I'll leave it here. So yeah, there's some color separation here. There's granulation. And I thought this color worked really well with the previous two. And last but not least, I wanted to include a neutral, an earth tone. So this is Castle Earth. That is also one of my favorite earth tones. I have in different brands. I love this brown. It has lovely texture. And I find it can work well. Being a neutral, it can work really well with any of the colors in the whole range, but particularly with these colors, I thought if you look with the orange and purple, or with the purple and with the orange and the green, it looks amazing. And now let's try to do some color mixing to see if you had a limited palette with these colors. So let's start here with the green. I will use the green in my stone. I would usually do this one by one with the squares, but like I said, I am a bit short on time. So I'm gonna try and mix the colors on the paper. Here we have the Rose Hip Mastone. Can give you some lovely golden type of colors. And let's see here by adding some green to this one. You get some muted orange or type of golden ochre. Let me just add a bit more orange here. So yeah, more or less that will be the range you would get with these tones. Some muted oranges, some very interesting mix over here happening. There's the green with the orange poking through in some sort of texture or granulation. I'll try the green again with the Castle Earth to see the range of greens we can get. Not surprisingly, you get a lovely range here also of olive green tones, starting with the very vibrant Macha's green. I'm going to try maybe and do a little bit here of bramble and rose hip, what type of color I can get. I got my stamp a bit squeezed over here, so we'll see how I can do this. Got some sort of purplish brown. If you are new to Deep Light and you are not sure of what colors to take, I would advise you to go with your favorite ones to start with. You don't need to worry necessarily of having a palette that matches. Of course, like I said, if you want to have something very versatile, you can go with this type of palette that has all the primary colors. But I personally, when I started buying their paints, I just started with a very small kit of 4 colors, and I chose the ones that I really liked looking at the pictures, and then I expanded from there until I was chosen to be one of their ambassadors, and I was fortunate enough to receive their catalog so I could try all of their colors. But if you have difficulty in deciding, that's why I'm doing this video, which I think by now, considering the daylight is just escaping me, I will have to make in a 2-part video. So I'm going to share with you the first page today, and in the new year I will continue with the second page of ideas of limited color palettes. Here you got some sort of a brownish purple color. I probably needed to have a bit more in mass tone here to show the mix. You get a purplish brown type of color. The advantage of doing limited palettes is that there's no way to go wrong with it, you know. If you choose 3 colors, 4 colors, and you just mix and match them to create new tones, for sure your composition will be harmonious. So let's get going with this page. I have another 2 to propose you. Still hoping that I can have daylight to finish this part of the video. The next one is composed of Gerda's Pink, Dragonfly, Rhubarb, and Peach Blossom. Gerda's Pink is also a very lovely tone. It's a very muted. Oh, I think I took the wrong I was adding rose hip again. So this is Gerda's Pink. It's a lovely corally tone. Then we have Dragonfly, which is one of those colors I said you could try and use as a primary as well. It has a bit of a cooler tone. I hope I didn't shake the camera too much as I was digging into the pan. So we have dragonfly here. Then rhubarb, which is a lovely green. Kind of a brownish olive green. And last but not least, we have peach blossom, which is a pastel tone. And I found these colors, they worked really nicely together as a palette. Of course, you don't have a dark in here, but depending on the result you are looking for, it can be interesting. So let's do some experimentation with peach blossom and dragonfly, considering that peach blossom is a pastel color. It will make the dragonfly also, it will turn into a pastel blue. So here you have peach blossom. I'm gonna drag this here. Let's add now the dragonfly into the peach blossom. And you get a lovely muted pastel blue. Almost like a verdigris type of color, I would say. Very nice, type of a Davis gray pastel tone. Let's try now maybe the same exercise with peach blossom and rhubarb. Rhubarb is already a bit opaque, I would say semi-opaque maybe. Maybe it was not the easiest to show in a mix with these two tones because they're quite opaque. So that's something to take into consideration also when you are trying color mixes. It's easier when you are using transparent colors. Opaque colors can get muddy and it's harder to see the nuances of the different proportions. But it was an interesting exercise nevertheless. So let's see this last palette that I have here. I have bullfinch, juniper, butterfly and burgundy yellow. Bullfinch is another lovely orange type of coral tone. Juniper is a deep bluish green, and I love, love, love using bluish greens and teals with orange, so no surprise here. Then butterfly, it's a very nice pastel light yellow color, sorry, light green color, which I think complements very well the juniper. I'm dripping paint all over the place. Look how lovely that is. So last but not least, we have burgundy yellow. This is a very lovely yellow. They have different ochres in the Deep Deep Light catalog, but this is my favorite one. It's very nice, it's bright, and it has some slight texture, which I really love. And look at this color palette also, how it can work really well either with the orange and the juniper, or with the bullfinch and the butterfly. They work really well together, I think, or without the yellow. Now let's do some color mixing here. Let's try the burgundy yellow over here. And I'm gonna try and mix it with juniper to see what kind of green I'll get. This is a very rich color, and it has some texture as well. I can see as it's drying. And it gets a lovely green. Reminds me a bit of chrome oxide green. Sure, you can try other greens as well. I think I may try another combination. I'm just gonna go wild here for my last attempt, and I'm gonna try and mix the bullfinch with the juniper and see what I get. So I'll start with the bullfinch here at the top. And the bullfinch at the bottom. Sorry, the juniper at the bottom. And I'll slowly make my way of one color into another. You get some browns and some rusty orange. You get some warmer greens and some muted oranges, deep oranges. And talking about oranges, I think this would be lovely to paint oranges themselves. You can even use the green for the leaves, and also to do some spots in the oranges to give a little bit more natural look. So yeah, and I'm gonna add a bonus color over here since I have the space. Color that can be very interesting for mixes. It's Mars Black. I'm sorry, I think I got the wrong the wrong black here. I'm gonna try again. I was not a big fan of black pigments or black watercolor, but this pigment is very granulating and it can offer a whole lot of mixes that will expand your palette even more. If you are a fan of super granulating colors, this is a pigment to have and to experiment with, because you can add this to pretty much any of the colors. I would say it works best with transparent colors. So something like Dragonfly or Rose Hip, Masha's green, these would make beautiful greens, a bit like Castle Earth. And this will add granulation. So you have a whole line of paints from Rembrandt, the Dusk paints that are made using this pigment, and you can, sky's the limit. With this you can add to pretty much any color. Like I said, transparent works best, so you can see the texture of the paint. And look how it's already granulating over here. I can see, and I'm gonna show you here. I don't think I'll have time to wait for all of the swatches to dry because it's getting really dark now. So I'm gonna share with you all of the swatches from my color mixing today. Here you have the color wheel with the primary blue, the permanent yellow, and the rosa magenta. And here you have the first limited color palette shared with Masha's green, Rose Hip, Bramble, and Castle Earth, with some color mixing here. Look at this type of golden brown color, very nice. Also got some mixes of the Masha's green with Castle Earth, which can give you more neutral greens with granulation. Then a more pastel type of palette with Gerda's Pink, Dragonfly, Rhubarb, and Peach Blossom. You can experiment with Peach Blossom to get some more pastel tones, like this beautiful gray over here. And last but not least, I have this palette here, which I really like, with Bullfinch, Juniper, Burgundy Yellow, and Butterfly. I love this color combination. You can have also some interesting greens by mixing the Juniper with the Burgundy Yellow, and the same with Juniper and the Bullfinch. You can get some more muted brown greens that can be useful as well, as you can see here. And as a bonus color, like I said, Mars Black, it can super granulate many of your colors. It's a very interesting color to experiment with, and I may in the future, if you want, to do a video showing possible mixes using this color, which can be fun to use. Now, like I said, I'm running out of time. I will have to cut this video short, and I will leave the next page for a second installment for this video. Let me know if you like this type of video here on the channel, color mixing. If you're interested, I will really try to do a bit more of this in the upcoming year, and I will take the opportunity to wish you happy holidays, and thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate. I really love reading your comments. Keep them coming. Give me that thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you soon. Bye.